Turkey considers them terrorists. Applications to join NATO have to be ratified by all current members. Well, let's go live now to Ian Lesser, Vice President of German Marshall Fund South, a think tank. He's joining me from their Brussels office. Mr. Lesser, thank you very much for being with us. Has Turkey capitulated here to allow Sweden in?
Well, not yet. And in fact, it's difficult to confirm that the news of that the Swedish foreign minister apparently received is actually true. It may be. It is now sitting for approval with the Foreign Affairs Committee of the Turkish Parliament. It was sent there by President Erdogan. There's every possibility that it will be approved, but Sweden's been waiting a very, very long time. Allies have been pressuring on the matter, not least the Secretary General, of course. Nothing has moved yet. So, part of this is about expectations Turkey has in Sweden, but part of it is also maybe a little bit about what Turkey would like to see from Washington.
On the bigger picture, Sweden doesn't share a border with Russia. Finland is now a NATO member. Is it really essential for Sweden to join the alliance? It's quite nicely cushioned by Finland and Estonia and surrounded by all these other NATO countries. Why does Sweden want membership?
Well, Sweden considers it essential. This was a wrenching political debate in Sweden. For many years, as a tradition of neutrality, it was not easy to get Sweden to come around to the idea of applying. But the Swedes are now very convinced that it's essential for their security. To complete that Baltic picture would be essential for NATO. It really would make a very, very big difference. And the Ukraine war demonstrates that it makes a very big difference whether you're actually in the alliance or you're out. To have those ironclad security guarantees really matters in the kind of environment we have at the moment.
Compared to other NATO members, in particular the likes of the UK and the US, the recent member Finland, what does Sweden bring to the party?
Well, it brings some very important geography, for one thing, but it goes beyond that. Sweden, despite its neutrality, actually has a very highly developed military, has some very specialized capabilities that relate to Baltic security. It brings a great deal, in fact, with a lot of credibility and a lot of political skill. It would make a huge contribution for the alliance, and everyone's simply waiting to see whether the Turks will approve it.
On the other side of this, of course, is Russia, which has long been opposed to Finnish and Swedish membership of NATO. It will not be happy at this latest twist in the tail, will it?
No, it will not. And, surely Russia is trying to keep the Turks from approving this. So far, that's not really been successful because it has moved along. But of course, Turkey is not the only one holding this up. It's also Hungary. And one presumes the two would go together. But there's some convincing to be done in both capitals. And of course, NATO allies are doing their best to do it, not least this week with this foreign ministers meeting at NATO.
And finally, what's the process here? What's the next step?
Well, the next step is it's sitting in the Turkish parliament. The next step is for the Turkish parliament to ratify it. If they do, then I think Sweden is pretty much set. There is the Hungarian issue, but I think that's a lot easier to deal with, actually, at the end of the day.
OK, Ian Lesser, Vice President of German Marshall Fund South. Mr. Lesser, thank you very much for being with us.